Hi guys, welcome to Azure Content. This is part 6 in Azure Synapse Analytics Real-Time Scenarios playlist. In this video, we will practically see how to create the pipeline that will automatically start and deallocate Azure Virtual Machine without any manual intervention. So in our previous video, we have discussed what is the difference between VM stop and VM stop plus deallocate and what access we need in our managed identity in order to do this process. Okay. So I won't go much in details because in previous video we have covered this, why we need to automate this process and what is the VM pricing model. So just to do a quick recap, the basic difference between VM stop and VM stop plus deallocate is that in case of VM stop, if we do that, it means that virtual machine is just turning off the operating system, but we are still paying for the allocated resources. But in case of VM stop plus deallocate, we are releasing the resources and we don't need to pay anymore till the point VM is deallocated. Okay. So let's practically create the pipeline now. Before that, we need to provide access to our managed identity. How will I get the managed identity name is that inside Synapse Workspace, we can go to Manage tab. Here we can see there's a tab called Security. Inside this, if we go to Credential option, here you can see there is Managed Identity Details present. So if we click this, we can see the Managed Identity name. It is similar to the workspace name. So if in case you're getting confused, it we are not providing access to our Synapse workspace. In turn, we are providing access to our managed identity, which is present within the Synapse workspace, and it has the similar name as our Synapse workspace. So let me grab this name, and here for each VM, I will provide that particular access. So let me go to access control, that is identity and access management, and here let me add the role assignment. Here let me paste the managed identity name and let me select it. In the role, I need to provide a virtual machine contributor role. So let me save it and let me do that for the second VM also. So similar way, I will go and try to give access to my managed identity in this particular VM also. Okay, so now my VM is having my managed identity is having access in both the VMs. Now it can communicate uh, when we give the API URL. So I have created a lookup activity where we have the details of each of the VMs. Here you can see first VM is name is Anu VM and the second VM is VM dummy. Here you can see that. So what is the location where this VM is present, then in which subscription this is present, and which resource group. These things I have kept in a lookup table because it might be the case that all the VMs are present in some different subscription ID. It need not be the same subscription ID. So in order to make it dynamic, I have used a lookup table, and here I can create a filter also. If I don't need to process this particular record, I can I can filter it out in the pipeline itself. And here this status column is for a purpose. We will store the current status of the VM in this table once we create the pipeline. So let's start with that. So let me create a new pipeline. Here I will take a lookup activity. Let me remove this first row because we need all the records which is present in this lookup. So I have a data set that is pointing to my SQL DB. So let me open this and show you. So this linked service is having configuration as similar to this my SQL database. So let me test this connection. Okay, so it's successful now. Now let me write a query. Here I will just say select star from test.vm start stop where is active equals to 1. So I'm just processing those records which are active. Now for each of the records I need to provide the API URL that will automate the process of start and stop VM. So here in the items property, I have to provide the output of this lookup. Okay, so here I will add a dynamic content, and here I will click this, and it means that whatever the output of that particular lookup, this will be this is what we will iterate inside the for each. So we will iterate through each of the records present in this table. So for doing that, I will just add value here. Why I will add value is that, let me just debug till this point. So let it run, and we can see these two records are coming in the output or not. So let me look at this output. Here you can see it is giving us the record count, so that is 2, and it is giving the details in the value property. So this is why I am taking value as my item in the for each content. So here inside value you can see ID1 details and ID2 details. So these two are active, so that's why these two are coming as the output of the lookup. Okay, so let me remove this debug point, and this is what I have given in the for each item. Okay, so it will iterate through each of that records. So now I will add a web activity where I can give a API URL. Okay, so in Microsoft document you can get the API URLs that will start the VM, that can deallocate the VM. So there are different API URLs. So I will post this URL also in the description of this video. So as you can see, these URLs are post methods. So in the web activity, we need to provide post method, and this URL will have the details of our subscription ID, resource group name, VM name, and the command that we need to provide. That will be start or deallocate. Okay. So there is another URL that will just uh, stop the VM. It will not deallocate it. So we have seen the difference between stop and deallocate. So if we provide power off, it will stop the VM. It will not deallocate the resources. So we will see all of these. Okay, we will try to do all the API URLs. We will try to provide. So here I have modified the URL with my subscription details. Let me copy this. Okay, so but we don't need to hard code it because we have stored these values in our SQL table, right? So let me make that dynamic. So let me make that dynamic. I will remove all of these hard coded values, and I will try to take it from the table. So in order to do that, because these are a string value and this will be a variable that will be coming from the table. So in order to do that, I need to provide concat. Okay, to concat the string value and the value coming from the table. Okay, so here as we know, the values are coming in the item option. So let me remove this, and here instead of this I will provide at the rate, sorry, not at the rate, because we have at the rate at the beginning. So we just need item dot, what is the column name for the subscription ID is subscription ID, item dot subscription ID, subscription ID. Okay, similarly this will go inside a string. Let me zoom in. Resource group name, this is hard coded value. Let me remove it, and here I will provide item dot resource group name is present in the column called Azure VM resource group name. Here I will give Azure VM resource group name. Again, this is a string till this point. Here I will remove the hard coded value, and I will give item dot VM name. So VM name is present in Azure VM name column. Azure VM name. Now I will close this string. So you can see we have made this This particular value is a string value which is uh, which we have provided inside our single quotes, and this is a dynamic dynamically it will be coming from the table. So I have provided it as item dot subscription ID. Okay, so similarly for other details as well. So this is okay. Now what we can do, this start command, this also we can make it dynamic. Let me create a pipeline variable, pipeline parameter, and we can make this start or deallocate this command also as dynamic command. Okay, so let me save this now. And here in parameter section, I will add a new parameter called command. And default value we can set something. For now, I will not set anything, and I will try to change this start, and I will try to grab it from the pipeline parameter. I will just click this, and here you can see this start option has been changed to this pipeline parameter. So there's something wrong here. Wait. Okay. Yeah. So now this is a dynamic content till this, and these are string contents. So let me save this. Okay. Now we need to provide the method. As we saw here, these methods are post method. So here I will give the method as post because it is giving a request to the virtual machine to stop or start. Okay. Here, if we have a post method, this body cannot be empty. We need to provide something. So I'll provide a curly braces. Okay. And in advanced option, we need to provide authentication type as managed identity, and in the resource, we need to provide uh, this particular string, https management.azure.com. Let me paste it. So now our pipeline is good to go. So here, what it will do, just to do a recap, it will first iterate, it will first look up on the control table that we have, that is test.vm start stop. It will grab all the details where is active equals to 1. So this will be coming as the output of this lookup. Okay, then for inside for each, we have set the output of lookup as the item. Okay, so because of that, it will iterate through each of the item, that is each of the rows present in that table. So inside that, it will create two instances of this web activity when we will run the pipeline, because we have two records present here, and for each of the instance it will give the parameters, I mean all the uh, details dynamically. It will take from the table, and it will send the command, and the command also we have made as dynamic, and it is coming from the parameter present in the pipeline. Okay, here. So let me debug it, and we need to provide the command. So right now the virtual machine is in stopped and deallocated state. So we need to start it. Let me debug it, and the command I will give as start. Let's run it. It will start the session. Okay, so lookup is completed. It is giving me two records and all the details present in each. Now for each of the item, it has created two instances of that web activity, and it is dynamically taking the subscription details, resource group name, and virtual machine name, and it has given the command. And similarly for the second one also, this is for second VM. You can see this. So let me refresh this. Okay, so it has been success for one of the VM. Let me refresh it again. Okay, let me check the status for both the VMs. Okay, let's see this again. Okay, so now both the VMs are started. So you can see the status is changed to running for both the VMs. Okay, So now if you see this table, the status is still null for both of them. What we want is, once this pipeline is finished, it will take the status of the current it will take the current status of the VM, and it should update in the table. Okay, so for that also we have a API URL which is of get method, and here you can see the command we need to provide is instance view. So what it will do is, it will retrieve the information of the runtime state of virtual machine. So it means it will check the current status of virtual machine, and it will give us the output that the status is running or stopped or deallocated. Okay, so I will take this particular command. Okay, let me copy this URL. Okay, so once we finish this, I will connect these two web activities, and as this is a copy, I will remove this, and we can keep it as instance view. So this is also a string, so I will give it in single quotes. So this is not a dynamic content, this is a hard-coded value, and instead of start or deallocate as the command, we are just giving instance view as the command. And this is not a post method, as we saw, it is a get method. Okay, so here I will change it to get. Okay, we don't need to provide any body, and this managed identity resource, everything is good. So now what it will do, it will check the status of this particular VM. So it will create each instance, and it will check the status of the VM. And after checking the status, what we want to update this particular status field. What is the status of that VM? Okay, so here let me run till this point, then we can see how we can update it. So the command I will give is let me give as deallocate, because it is in running state. So I will give deallocate as the command. So let's run this. Let me refresh it again. So you can see one of the VMs is succeeded, and it has taken the status of that particular VM as well. So let's wait for the other one also to complete. Okay, so now the other one is also completed. Let's see output of this one. Sorry, output of this one. So here you can see this is for VM dummy. Okay, that is the second VM present in this table, and the status of the VM where we can get is uh, see this is the statuses property where we have two JSONs. One is giving us uh, provision succeeded as the display status, and the other one is giving us VM deallocated as the status. So this is the correct status that we need to fetch. VM is deallocated. Here you can see, let me refresh it. Now as we gave the command as deallocated, the status has changed to stopped plus deallocated. So the display status here is VM deallocated. Okay, this is what we need to grab. Similarly for the other output also, let me click on the output, and this is for the first VM, which is Anu VM present in the table. And similarly in statuses option, this is the second JSON that we need. Okay, here also we need to fetch the display status. Okay, so let me actually copy this output and keep it in a notepad. Okay, so here inside output we need to check for statuses, and then we need to check for uh, display status. Okay, so let me grab a lookup activity here that will send the update query command. So here in the settings, let me first remove this first row, and let me take the dataset point that is already pointing to SQL DB. I will take the same dataset here. In the query option, I will give the query as update table name, which is nothing but test.vm start stop set status equals to the status should be same as the output coming from this web activity. Okay, so as we have taken this JSON file, here we can see we need to take the uh, value as output dot statuses. Inside array we need to take uh, not the first one, we need to take the second one and then display status. Okay, so here I will add web copy one output. By default it will come at the rate will come at the start. Let me remove it from there and I will add it here. And as we discussed, it is output dot statuses, and in the array I will not give 0 because in the 0 it is provisioning succeeded, so I need to give it as 1. Okay, dot display status. Let me copy this display status. Let me close this bracket. So now the status will set to this one, and uh, we need to add a where activity, right? Where clause, because if we don't give it, then it will change the status for both as VM start or stop, whatever it is. So here we need to give a where clause on the basis of VM name. Okay, so I will say where Azure VM name equals to what it is coming from the item.azure VM name. Okay, so here also I will give at the rate item.azure VM name. Okay, so let me run it here. Actually, we need a single quote before and after this, and before and after this as well. Okay, let me run without that single quotes, and then we can see what we can do about it. So let me give the so to quickly rewind. We have added a lookup activity that will look up on this table and it will fetch all the records that is in is active condition, and then it will we have added for each to iterate through each of these records, and inside this for each we have added a web activity that will give API URL command similar to the command which we uh, give during the runtime, whether it be start or deallocate. And then there is another web activity that is checking the instance view, that is checking the current status of the VM, and then we are updating the same status in the table, okay, in the status column. So now let us check the output. So here you can see it is failed, saying that database operation failed with the error incorrect syntax near running. Okay, so here what went wrong, let's see. Here you can see the update query has been modified to update test dot this table name set status equals to this. This is without single quotes, this is also without single quotes. Okay, so this is the reason it failed. So let's create a variable with the values of single quotes. Okay, I will just give any name, and the default value I will give it as single quotes, and this one I will call it before the activity. Okay, and here also I need to make it dynamic because it is a variable. Let me copy it. I need to give it before the status and after this, and similarly I need to give it before this where condition because it should also be present within the single quotes. Now let's debug it again. I will give the same command as start so that it won't take much time because the VM is already in start mode. Okay, so let's check in the table what we have right now. It is status is null for both the records. So let this finish, and our expectation is VM should be in, the request should is we are sending is for VM start. So VM running should be the output that it will give in web1 copy one, and this should be updated to this status column as well. Okay, so this lookup failed again. It is saying the query doesn't return any data. Okay, so actually whenever we use update query, as it is not a select query, it is not returning any data, and we are using it in on top of lookup activity, and lookup is always meant to return some data. So because of that, we need to add a select query here, so that we will get some output. So let me add a column, a semicolon, and I will just say select one as output. It won't do anything, but just to get an output from the lookup activity. But the thing is, till this point, it should have run. So let's check the table again. Let me select this, and the status has been updated, you can see. But this lookup is meant to return some output. This is why it failed. So let's run it again. Now I will run it with the command as deallocate. Right now it has updated to VM running. Now I will change it to deallocate, and once this is finished, it should update the status to VM deallocated, and there should be no errors like we found earlier. So now we can see all the activities got successfully completed. Okay, so this is returning an output only as one. It is an hard-coded value. It is for no purpose. We are just adding it so that the lookup doesn't return any error. Okay. Now let's check the table should be updated to status column should be updated to VM allocated deallocated. Let me run this. Okay, so see, you can see this status has been updated to VM deallocated, and let me refresh this VM status also. Okay, so here also you can see the status is stopped deallocated. Okay, let me run it again with the command called power off. Okay, power off. Let's wait for this to complete, and then we can see what happens with that particular command. So this run has been completed. Let's check what is there in table now. Okay, so now you can see this status is changed to VM stopped instead of VM deallocated at the first place. So here also, instead of stopped deallocate, let me refresh. The status is stopped. So this is what the difference I was talking about in my previous video. That if we are stopping the VM, it means we are still paying for it. So we don't want to give this command. Okay, right now what we give is power off. We want to give deallocate as the command, so that should be the command on which we should rely for saving our cost. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share. So let's go to the presentation again. So we have achieved this we have achieved this particular goal. We have created a pipeline that is automatically starting and stopping the Azure Virtual Machine. Okay, not stopping, it is deallocating. So now we can call this pipeline within our ETL. If this is your ETL, so we can call this particular pipeline before your ETL job run starts. Okay, so that VM with this we want to give the command as start. Okay, and after the successful completion of the ETL job run, we will try to invoke the same pipeline again. With this time, we will give the command as deallocate so that it will save our cost. Okay, so this is how we can implement it in any project that is using VM. Please stay tuned for the next video. Hope you guys like this video. Thank you so much. Please hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.